All right, everyone, welcome back for another episode of Carnivore Trades. Today is Wednesday, July 17, 2024. If you're not already, please give the video a thumbs up, like, comment, subscribe to the channel. Come find me on carnivoretrades.com for swing trading alerts. And now, let's say on live day trading. Let's get to 4,000 subscribers. Only got about 40 to go. See if we can do that by the end of the month here. You think we can get that done? We'll see. All right, markets here today with a pretty good sell. Are the semiconductors going to crash the market? Well, that remains to be seen here, but SMH down 6.4%. We talked about this over the last couple of days, or even really last week. I mentioned that, you're definitely seeing distribution here twice here in the SMH. And that little sell last week on the spiders, I said, was not really anything to worry about. However, be careful with tech, specifically chips. And, we've been talking about that rotation likely going to go on here for a while. By the way, I closed out IWM, absolute trade of the year, with IWM and RTY today. So that finally hit my macro target of the summertime, and it just a monster trade here. I did not think we would get there in 5 days, but a monster trade here. But right now, SMH dragging the market down. Some news out of China here. So they're looking like they're going to crack down on chips right now. And you're actually seeing the Chinese market up a little bit today. ASHR up 25 basis points. FXI is down a little bit here, but Intel kind of the beneficiary there. So that is green, kind of bucking the trend. And you're seeing stocks like AMD down 9.5, NVIDIA down 6, Broadcom here down 7. Big moves there. We do have TSM reporting in the overnight, so that'll be by tomorrow morning. That's down 7 as well. And then we also have Netflix. It's not a semi, obviously, but tech company, and reporting tomorrow after the bell. So that'll be important for tech earnings also. What's going on here? So is this going to crash? I mean, I don't think so, as you guys can probably figure out. I do think that there is a risk, though, with obviously NVIDIA being as large as it is. Market cap wise, and Broadcom too, for that matter. And really all big tech right now is down. So MSFT down 1.5, Google down 1.5, Apple, if I can type it in right, Apple down 2.5. So we just showed Netflix down 1. But again, what's holding up? Again, dispersion is the name of the game here. IWM's flat and the Dow is at all-time highs. So Dow up 0.5%. KRE up 1.25. KBE, I told you guys 52.50. That's it. Got to 53 today. VNQ up 64 basis points. So it's not really in an XLF here up 0.2% at all-time highs. So again, I don't really think it's necessarily that big of a deal right now. A couple of extra reasons too. If we look at the spiders, volume's just not there. Again, volume's not there. So 37 million shares. Market closes in 20 minutes. That's not distribution volume. Additionally, it's OPEX week too. So we had VIX-piration yesterday, or today rather. We said that might open the door for a little bit more volatility, and obviously that was the case here. The VIX up nicely, up 10%, was up a little bit more at one point. But bottom line though is, as long as we're above these, above this 55-25 area, I think the market's fine. Does it become a concern below that? Yeah, but right now we're still pretty pinned. And I think vol sellers can and will come in by the end of the week, if not early next week. That doesn't mean we're going to go straight up to all-time highs, but I don't really see this as it's definitely not a broad-based sell-off. In fact, since everybody loves bread, let's talk about it. RSP just down 0.33%. And right now we're still in positive breadth on the S&P. So advanced decline 262 versus 238. That does not look like a market. If you told me NVIDIA, again, I mentioned this many times, but if you told me NVIDIA was down 6%, or told most investors NVIDIA is down 6%, you'd say the market is crashing and everything's down, but it's not. So will this, can this become a risk though? Concentration risk? Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. But you actually have to unpin volatility through some of these levels. And I think that needs to be done in the next 2 weeks. Otherwise, you could be looking at another kind of curl back up here as we get close to the end of the summer. Would that look more like IWM continuing? I think so. I think tech is mostly done. I do think we are getting close to a bounce though. Looking at the SMH, there is some support at 250 right now with the 50 MA. It is major because we are hitting it from an extended place. And there's also a 382 right in that area. Whole round number also, a lot of the time those whole round numbers will get defended for options X, and it is a monthly OPEX in 2 days. So again, additionally with OPEX, this volatility, usually you don't see it get that uncorked, at least with continuation to a big degree during that. Afterwards, that can happen, and we'll have to see what we get. But right now, you do have a little M top there on the SMH double top. And I think the likely scenario is a lower high. But again, that doesn't mean other sectors can't pick up, right? We've talked about IWM, even an ARC here has had a nice move. So we're seeing rotation into other things. XBI down, but it's had a nice run off the lows. IGV down, but again, a nice move up to the highs. This can consolidate and push higher. So just be aware of that. It's not broad-based. I don't see any sort of systemic problems here right now. Could there be down the line? Yes, but I don't think that we're quite there yet. Lastly, market closing in about 15 minutes. Just one other thing to kind of point out is that really all day we've had this 5600 pin, and I think that's more so the story than anything. So you can see that right there. There's just a lot of gex in this area. That doesn't mean they won't try to flush it down into the morning, but it looks a lot more like a pin job to me. One last thing too. Lower highs or not, I think NQ is probably close to a bounce here. You can see we're slicing that trend line right here. If we look at the Qs, we're getting close to this respective trend line. And, looking at an hourly here, it's not that, be all end all, of course, but we hit a 7 on the RSI hourly for the NQ. I think a gap down tomorrow probably gets us some type of a squeeze. The last time we were this low on the 4 hour as well was the April 21st low. So again, I don't think we're going to have this type of a rally, but just to give you an idea of conditions, 200 MA on the 4 hour there also, likely close to some type of a bounce here. Does that result in lower high? I think that's likely, but I don't think that's the end of the world for the broad market here, at least not right now. Also, another sector doing very well today too is healthcare. United Health continuing to impress there. Forgot about that. Anyways, so those are the levels here. Again, can we dip tomorrow? Absolutely. I wouldn't really get too concerned. We should have some level around. We should be a level around 55.50. And then, of course, the big level is right down here. That's kind of your big pocket. But I think QQQ into that 50, or excuse me, into the that trend line with the SMH at the 50 MA gets defended tomorrow if we gap down. But yeah, pretty good sell here. And we'll definitely keep an eye on things. There is room for vol sellers to come in, though, if we do not break some of these levels here. Additionally, Dow Jones at all-time highs. It's just very interesting to see the VIX up 10% with the Dow Jones literally making new all-time highs, and it's like at the highs as we speak. So yeah, I guess there's an opportunity for vol sellers here is what I'm saying. So anyways, that's what we're looking at. IWM, I think, struggles with 225. That was a macro target for a reason. I talked about this yesterday. Yes, it can go to double top, but it's going to need to consolidate, right? It's going to need, it just hit a major 786. And that's why, I got out of it and pretty much right at the highs of the day too. So awesome trade there, 4 members. And yeah, what can you say? But that's a pretty good level. We should have to pull back and digest that move. Dow at all-time highs. We talked about the lows on the Qs. SMH 250. I think that gets defended. IGV, I'm not so sure what this is doing, but right now you have possibly a higher low. It's not by much, but you have a possible higher low here. We'll see what that does. Again, I think daily, weekly needs to do a little bit of consolidation, right? We had a big pop, a couple of weeks of consolidation here could get us up into that 92 handle, and I do think it can get there. Dow Transport's down 1.38%, but again, look at how much it was up yesterday. It was up like 2.5 or something yesterday, and look at the move here, 15K to 16.3 in 5 sessions. So, okay, it's allowed to be down a little bit here. And we knew we were going into these pivots anyway. So consolidation here, moving average can catch up, then it can go higher. But really good bid lately, and see how that shakes out here. All right. Interest rates here today. Let me fix this. There we go. So 2-year yield actually up a little bit. And, yield curve kind of coming back in. So again, teasing over and over and over again. Oh, we're gonna uninvert. Everybody's talking about the uninversion, and now we're coming back in again. 3-month 10-year well inverted, actually about to make a lower low there. So I'll believe it when I see it. I'm, there's everybody wants to front run this recession call. I got to be the guy who calls the recession. It's like everybody knows there's going to be a recession. We're probably in one now, and these yield trades are getting so crowded. I just haven't done anything with them. I do think the long end though, yield wise, is going to be intriguing. I think there will be a long yield trade on the long end, probably before the end of the year. I think it's getting crowded here on the the long bond side. That's just my 2 cents. I haven't done anything with it, but yeah, yields on the long end backing off a little bit today. They were kind of a non-event. Obviously, the story was the semiconductors. XHB down a little bit, but again, big move yesterday. There's nothing wrong with that. Still a power move at all-time highs. VNQ again made a new 52-week high. Looks like, or did we just come shy? 89.38. Yeah, so we just made a new 52-week high. So good move for VNQ. Little resistance. You get the 200 MA. So that might need to do some backing and filling, but good breakout, and it's still pretty strong. It can just consolidate this up move. XLF here up 60 basis points. Again, consolidation, big pop there. And we've talked about Berkshire the last couple of days. It's a big component. It's on breakout still. I mean, perfect pattern there, by the way. KRE, massive move here. Into the weekly 200. Okay, so just be aware of that. You got a 50% fib retrace too from the all-time, or is that, I don't even know if that's an all-time high. Yeah, it is all-time high. So major level here. Next big level is at 62. I'd be shocked if we just went there in a straight line though. KBE target was hit at 52.50. We're above that. Got an upsloping trend line there too that could go up there and get tagged. Let's just check the fibs on that. Yeah, 786 right there at 54. So that's your secondary target there for KBE if we continue to show strength. But again, it's on a big breakout here. I know everybody's going to scream about how it's overbought, but this is what happens when you consolidate for 7 months. You can get daily overbought when you consolidate for 7 months because you're monthly and it's a monthly pattern. So broker dealers down today, but came off the lows, no problems, still at all-time highs. Oil with a good move here, up 2.5. I've avoided oil lately. We had a failed inside bar yesterday and then right up today. So again, oil hanging in there. If this becomes a higher low, yeah, watch out. So this is still very interesting, even on the weekly. Like if this can hold on the weekly, this gets interesting. I'm watching those moving averages for separation. And if that happens, I think oil can really surprise at the upside. That's going to kill the recession narrative too, which is why I don't really bother trying to be the macro genius. I just trade the charts, and usually I do a lot better than those guys do. So XLE holding up nicely, up 1%. And again, we noted that it was interesting how it was up yesterday with oil down. Again, a lot of it's concentration risk and things moving around, money moving around. XLE holding up on the weekly. So again, as long as we're still seeing sectors bid, whether that's XLE, XLV, KRE, transports, VNQ, IWM, Dow Jones, I'm not going to get too bearish. And as long as we have dispersion here, that's just going to be the move. Anyways, XOP went up to that area we talked about. Didn't quite get to 152, but it did pull back. Still green on the day. OIH is the powerhouse of the group, down just 0.25%. It is a little stretched here in the short term, but good move there, and just a pause day after a big move. CCJ, big outside move down. So weakness there, possible lower highs. We'll have to see where this ends up on the weekly. Again, weekly, there's still no problems with this until you get down to 42, 41.94, whatever it is. And then if it breaks that, then it's a problem. For URNM, this is getting close to a problem because you don't want to see a close below that breakup bar on the weekly. So that would be a sign of weakness. And you got the NJ, the juniors right there, 22.92 in that same spot. Nat gas continuing down today. I have not touched this in a while, or on this particular drop here. It is way overdone to the downside, but that's kind of what nat gas does. Might be getting a little exhausted. We'll see. Maybe a Pierce at 2 would get me interested, but I need to see more of a signal here. We have inventories tomorrow, so if it's down big into inventories, maybe I could be tempted. But we'll see there. Dollar index slicing lower, down 0.5%. Now it is below weekly support, so be aware of that. Also be aware that this is also the same. It's a monthly level, so we could fail on the weekly and then not fail on the monthly if we get back above by the end of the month. So just be aware that's a weekly and monthly level. It is below it right now, though. Not a lot of macro data here to move the market. We do have jobless claims, but that's it. Nothing really big until next week, I think. So dollar index weak. Gold here, new all-time high. It did pull back, though, and pause. I'm still kind of in the camp this we'll pull back one more time, but very good move, and gold's holding up. GDX pulling back. That's on breakout, as we talked about, though. Silver's on the weaker side. Again, the narrative right now is disinflation, so it's, industrial component is going to drag that down a little bit more. I still like it, though, but it is pulling back. Platinum down 1/4. We'll not make too much out of that. And then palladium here, again, still nothing doing. Nothing to really update there. Copper, again, kind of the disinflation move here. Below that green bar. We'll see what it does. I'm not interested until at least like 420. But a little bit of weakness. All right, Bitcoin's still holding up okay. It is pulling back, but again, we did get above that line, tested it yesterday, and now, again, if it's just, it can just consolidate here, it can go up. Again, I'm still kind of in the camp, though, that the monthly is going to do more something closer to this, where we go up here, hit, and then we kind of like that. So I'm waiting for this to really catch up, that 20 MA. But in the short term, it's holding up fine, and there's no issues. And we talked about this, that weekly, beautiful dip. Everybody panicked. And very nice recovery. ETH still benefiting from the positive news cycle, too. So, all right, let's take a look here. Market's closing in about 4 minutes. Yeah, so we're right at 55. Now, they might flush it down at the close. Yeah, I'd be interested in tech tomorrow, potentially, for a bounce here, especially if, like, the Russell continues to, like, pull back off the highs. We'll see that dispersion change. And maybe if the Dow pulls back, too, I think you'll see that money rotate. But watching those areas there, watch that trend line on the Qs. If that gets pierced tomorrow, I would be on watch for a possible, like, tail candle, maybe like a green close, and then possibly relief into Friday. But either way, pretty good sell here. I don't really see massive, cause for concern yet. Volume's just not heavy enough, but definitely good distribution in chips. I think that is well overdue, and we'll see what we get here. But market should be okay right now, at least for the next, in the near term. Especially as long as we're above this level here on the S&P. I don't think there's really any technical damage. So, anyways, guys, we're gonna wrap it up here. You guys take care. Come find me on carnivoretrades.com. I'll see you guys all tomorrow.